It's fiscally responsible what you've done up in Cleveland with the 25%, reserve. But I know that members of your party have been very critical that the Republicans are holding back money in the state level rainy day fund. I mean, how do you view what you would put aside as governor? Would you do something differently in the rainy day fund? And aren't they also being fiscally responsible, putting something aside?
Well, number one is they haven't just been holding the money aside, they've also been turning it into tax cuts. And so even every time there's any kind of windfall for the state, so for instance when the news came out, or the specifics were coming out in terms of how much additional revenue the state was going to realize because of Medicaid expansion, immediately the suggestion was, I think it was $400 million, so immediately the suggestion was, oh good, well now we can do another tax cut. Even though the estimate was that if you're a middle class family, that the result of the tax cut would basically be you could buy a slice of pizza and you get over $1,000 if you're at the top end of the income scale. So to me, the way that I've read the critiques is there's nothing wrong with having a strong rainy day fund. You should, and we have one that's much stronger than the state's is. The problem is when you finance that basically by raiding other communities' rainy day funds. That's what really is galling, not just, by the way, to Democratic officials, but to local elected officials in general. When I was speaking to the township trustees, that's not really a partisan issue for them because they view the local government fund as funds that the state collected, yes, because the state is the tax collector, but those were not supposed to be exclusively state funds. When those taxes were levied in the first place, there was an explicit agreement. It was a bipartisan agreement with Democratic governors and Republican governors and Democratic legislatures and Republican legislatures that money was supposed to be held in trust for local communities to draw down on when they needed it. So what happened? Well, when they needed it the most, it disappears. So that's what the dialogue has been. It's what's been galling to local communities isn't just that the rainy day is being built up, the fund is being built up, that's a good thing. It's that they're also handing out favors and tax cuts to a very select group of folks while taking resources away that were really meant to be spent on K-12 education or local government services.